extraterrestrials. We are all of a higher essence, an ether essence, vapor person maybe if you want, but that I'm hearing a lot on these groups now like Gaia that, oh, this is part of my brain. Well, I don't believe that was part of your brain. I believe the brain is like getting in a car. Our soul, and Tommy Hawksblood has joined me, so I'll bring him on. And I'm going to use my Enchanted Development and my Ascension Ancient Mystery Schools for teaching my first lesson today, but he said he would join me because I told him about reincarnation, and I believe he believes like I do. We've had times to talk for 8 years. But today, Tommy, I'm going to use Enchanted Development, the little book that Janet wanted me to write that I found in a capsule, a time capsule, from back in 93 for today, for June 7th, 2020. So the dedication was, the book is dedicated to my family and friends who encouraged me to be me. Also, to those who read this, may my life not be in vain. So nobody wants to think our essence, our energy, our soul is in vain. So you say, please use this for your own guidance. We all have an inner guidance system, and this information is what I use to live as I develop my life and learning. To all those who break down cultural barriers for the good of the universe. Now, I don't believe in just one universe. So a lot of the people in Gaia, you're going to hear talking about them remembering their past lives because that's where we're at now in our lessons, our universal life lessons. But I've asked Tommy to join me on the soul, and if he can get on the other side of himself, going from the inner self to the outer self, but joining inner and outer is like your soul essence, and we don't know. So we're going to talk on some topics that are already out in the universe, but I would like to address that when I died, I went through various universes. So I called them the universe, the multiverse, the metaverse, the xenoverse, and the omniverse, and they were taken down. Now, they were up, and then people in Europe would take them down off of Wikipedia because I had all the education. I spent lots of time in open source putting out, and so they absorbed them over the years from the time I was working open source and helping grow the Internet. And Google, and a lot of people asked me to help, and Google said if they could have some of my books and put them out in the Google library. So I've helped Google, I've helped grow, and I've helped do tag words back when we would look at pictures and put the best words. So I've been doing my part. And this could heighten all of us if we learn that we do come down into individual containers, and how we nowadays in the world, we're only as good as our energy that's willing to like get in your car and drive your body around. And if you go where your body goes is what I understand. But some of us, like Tommy and I, have learned to be universal life pastors. And we are starting, we've been doing this for 8 years, but we didn't do that many Sundays. Ascension Church, Ohana, my daughter died, and my older daughter, her sister, came over and said, Mom, a lady named Brittany said, please, you're late getting on to do your church. So I guess we have a church out there with 8 years of people listening, even though maybe I didn't realize how emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritual I was, because I got depressed with my daughter dying. So one of the last lessons I'm learning is emotional intelligence, folks, and how emotional we can be. And first, I believe a lot of people are walking the earth in their containers now because they're driven emotionally by their feelings, and they want to be a part of something, and they feel like they can be counted in a peaceful protest in the world in various locations. And that's going on today, even right now, as I speak to you. But, I can't control the entire world, but God can. So we have a higher and I have a lower. And I'm going to teach you also that even in the media, what they call the fake media, they use the as above, so below, and they use the higher groups that organize their units, their containers, and especially those that have accumulated a lot of human wealth on the planet. And a lot of the churches that I went to would talk politics, which I didn't think politics and religion should intertwine. But I'm going to just tell you, because I'm talking to the world, and there's a lot of people that listen to me in the Emirates and in India and Australia and the UK, in Japan and China even, all over the world. But I've been working with GoDaddy since '98, and Parsons was the gentleman's name. And I learned about cPanel out of Houston, so I used cPanel, and I learned about WordPress, kept coming to me across. So I'm using WordPress and Automatic, and then, of course, Oracle is deep. We use Oracle. A lot of people don't know they use Oracle, but they do. But we have a lot of tools here. And so the Ascension Church Ohana is going to be people, but I'm hoping that Tommy is going to help organize. He was the original help person. There was 3. I did the Power of 3 with Theresa J Morris, Thomas Anthony Hawksblood Sinisi, and Janet Lynn Thompson Kira Lesson. So she now goes by Janet Kira Lesson, and Tommy goes by Tommy Hawksblood Sinisi. Now, Janet, I didn't ask her to show up today because she already does another one at this time on she stayed with Revolution Radio, and for 3 years, I always have to have directors for the ACO Association over what Tommy and I do as directors for the ACO Association for the Ascension Center Organization. And we have Ascension Center Organization for ACO, and we have those agents, consultants, and organizers. So we have to have a platform of administration. We have Ascension Center, and we have ACE Metaphysical Institute. So it sounds real complicated when you start looking at all these domains. But I want to talk about automatic writing and our reincarnation and our soul at the highest levels, as above, so below, because God is everywhere in my mind, and God is everything. But we don't take that literally, and I'm not going to get in debates with people because my daughter said, in this time, Mom, please be positive, be uplifting, be of good words to help develop us and evolve the human race. So to all those who break down cultural barriers for the good of God and good of the universe, I want to know if you've been called. And I am acknowledging that I am an ascension master. I've learned about ascension and raising myself out of my physical container, in and out of body, coming and going like travel. And we're going to talk about things that not everybody was taught in their world religions. Some people were. But one reason I'm so close to religion in India is I've had past lives there. So in this time capsule, I'm going to read Chapter 1 and then ask Tommy. And Channel 2 is Automatic Writing, December 1st, 1993 at 1:30. So, Tommy, I'm going to read this, and I know Tommy can help me decipher a lot of this because he's a universal life master or a pastor. And I asked him if he would like to have a place with me and help us with future webinars and workshops on my brand, which is God's brand. They gave me, they split a tree, Tommy, with lightning on a sunny day and gave me the Ascension brand. And since then, before my parents died or the year my parents did die, they brought these brand symbols that come from God, because I don't know who they come from. Some people, I don't know if they're extraterrestrial or not, but they came to a wall. And things happen to me supernatural I can't explain. So I call it God. But now I did go up from here in Gulf Breeze, and I went up on what I would call a capsule, or some people may call a spacecraft. Unless you experience it, it's like pain. You can experience pain, but you may not know what it feels like to lose a parent or a child. And I do, because I've lost both. But I've also lost my own life. So I know what it feels like to lose your life and to be brought back and to lose all the blood in your body and die again and come back and talk to beings higher than myself. that I call extraterrestrials, and I also call them angels. So I believe in angels, and this is the time on earth where I'm going to stand up and talk from what I call experience. And I just wanted to write a little book that Janet asked me about this Ascension Age and the Ascension Center. And Tommy, administratively and in radio, backed me up and helped me with the articles and bylaws in 2012. So we use our articles and bylaws in the United States of America to do all things according to law. And even with a church, you still have to have a foundation, even if you don't have a brick and mortar in today's cyberspace. And I did have a brick and mortar, but it's no longer a treasure shop. But when my husband was very ill, and he and his sister ran that for me. But on this church, Tommy and I do it on the Internet. So we're going to interact as the Ascension Age between humanoids and divine beings. So prophetic dreams, channeled automatic writing, intervention by intergalactic humanoid sentient intelligent beings throughout history, and that's a fact among those chosen as the Ascension Masters. So we are chosen because they talk to us, and they even materialize in space. And so I've been off planet in space talking to beings that have a divine energy that I would call Jesus, because he didn't say he was Jesus, but it was the closest thing to Jesus, because my portal, my choice of channeling myself, my essence, my energy through the universes is the choice, our portal, our entry called by the way of God, and the door is Jesus. So the portal of beings like me, and a lot of us were trained in this reincarnation, to believe through by the way, the truth, and the light, and the gate and the way is Jesus Christ. So you'll find out the word Christ and Jesus, it means different things to different people, even to the Jewish faith over in Jerusalem. And there's television shows about this that I follow about Jesus, or the many Jesuses, the many Christ, but we're not going to go into that. That's not what we're about today. We're about time capsule, channeled automatic writing, high council, universal God, Lady of the Command, rebuilding the temple, ascension classes, ascension masters, cosmic beings, star seeds, cosmic door, ascension center, and divine energy. So if you can get with that, and then some of you may be about UFO space talks it says we're having today, which is also about you and your experiences as an essence. So channeled writing and this time capsule, but let me skip over the Ascension Center. Well, let me just say, it says, I'm just going to go ahead and start, Tommy, with Time Capsule 1, Chapter 1. It's a little bitty thin book of only, let me see how many pages, 30, well, that includes me, my picture at the back, 40 pages. But even Tommy has a description of the tarot, and I didn't channel that. I just picked that up off the Internet about it says Nicola Converse, 1760 Duck, Anton Court de Gabillon, I don't know how to say, a French-born Protestant pastor, Freemason, published a dissertation of the origins of the symbolism of tarot in Volume 8. So a lot of people don't know that there's monks that are Protestants and that used the in 1540, and we used divination. And a lot of people later on in America burned witches because they could precognitionist, we call them. They could know things before they happen. So we can discuss all kind of things, and we have for 8 years. But today, let me talk about reincarnation and time travel and getting started on our lessons. So this lesson on time travel, automatic writing, but Chapter 1, Time Capsule, I'll just read it for Tommy, and it'll be here. I always wanted to write a book and have self-published several. I just will not take the time to wait for answers from the larger book publishers. So much for time on earth, as in waiting when I don't have to. I learned how to publish myself and hope you, the reader, learns also. I I believe and was taught that we are all the authors of our own life stories. Now, you, the reader, please know